Yo, what's the dealio, y'all? You already know today we got a straight banger for you. All right. In this video, I'm going to be talking about setups, when to get out of a setup, and when to get back in a setup that you already was trying to trade that may have not gone your way. All right. So, with that being said, first thing I want to say is if you are watching this, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We bring in videos to you every single day that could change your life. All right. Now, with that being said, sometimes, no matter what the setup is, right? It could be a bear flag, it could be a break and retest, it could be a reversal, it could be a bull flag. It don't matter. Sometimes they're not going to go just as you planned. But here's what I've learned, and these are the games that Wall Street will play. You may see the perfect setup, right? The perfect setup. And then it goes in the opposite way. And then you may lose money or get stopped out, whatever the case is, right? And then later on in the day, you may come back to the stock and it did exactly what you was expecting it to do, right? And you're like, damn, I could have made money instead of losing money. So that's what I want to talk about, right? So today I had a put on Micron, Technologies. Micron Technology, MU, is what we played. Now, here's what happened. I got in on a put, followed my rules, and then it started kind of just like hovering, right? Back and forth, and consolidating. It went up a little bit, came down a little bit, so I saw that it was consolidating after it had a move to the downside and it had a gap filled to the downside. So I was like, oh, okay. So I got stopped out of the play. And then I told everybody, I said, if it comes to a certain place, I'm going to get back in. I got back in and I made my money. All right. So we're going to go into the charts and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So let's go. So we got Micron right here. Okay. Now, this is on a 15-minute time frame. But let's look at the 5-minute time frame, just so that you could see what I'm saying. All right. I was trading this stock on a 15-minute time frame. But I was looking on it on a 5-minute time frame. All right. Let me make these lines a little bit fatter for you so you could see. All right. And 3, and then boom. All right. So this morning, got in Micron, all right? So it broke below a level right here, and then it broke below another level right here. And so I initially was getting into a put, and I got into a put. Where did I get into a put at? I got into a put right on this candle right here, okay? So I took my entry. I took my entry on this candle right here. Okay. Now, looked like it was going to continue on because we had this gap to fill right here. Okay. So this is the whole reason why I was entering into this put. So it closed on Friday right here and it opened up right here. Okay. Boom. So this right here is a gap that Micron had to fill, right? So we're going to type this in here. I'm going to type in gap up. All right. So Micron closed at 69.51 on Friday and it opened up. It gapped all the way up to here and it opened up at 74.67. As you can see, it didn't go up at all when it opened up, right? So when I saw this candle and this candle, I was like, okay, we're coming down considerably. We are about to fill this gap right here, right? We're just gonna sell off straight, and then we might recover and go to the upside, right? Now, that's why I took my entry in right here. And then what ended up happening is it started consolidating, came down a little bit, and then started to reverse a little bit right here, right? I actually got in, it was this candle right here, all right? It was that candle right there. This the 5 minute. If we look on a 15 minute, yes, I took my entry off the 15 minute, and it was this candle right here. All right, it closed right here, and then I waited for it. It came up a little bit. I thought it was rejecting, and then I was expecting to go back down, right? So I got in right here. It came down a little bit more, and then it started to reverse, okay? But now on the 5 minute, as you can see right here, this looked like a bear flag. So I said, all right, y'all, it looks like it's creating a bear flag, which lets me know it's going to come back to the downside. So I got stopped out right here because I said, if we go above the resistance of the bear flag, I'm going to get out. All right. So stopped out right here. Okay. Stopped out right there of the trade. Okay. Because the bear flag was now invalidated and we could have went to the upside. Then what happened was I was watching it because it wasn't blasting off like that. It wasn't really blasting off. So started to come down on a 5 minute. So then what I did was I created my trend lines. So I created a trend line. I said, okay, we got this right here. All right. And then we got this right here. Boom and boom, right? So I said, if I start to see it come down outside of this trend line, and then we break below this level right here, which is the bottom of the bear flag, then we're coming down to fill this gap right here. Okay? Then we're coming down to fill this gap right here, right? So I waited patiently. I let it do its thing, and it came down here, and then it broke below, right? So on the 15 minute, it broke below right here, and then I entered into the trade. Let me type in the first entry so y'all can see it. All right, right here, okay? And then I took my entry into this trade once it broke this level right here, which was on this candle, okay? It was on this green candle is when I entered in. So I entered in right here near the top of it, okay? Boom, entry. I'm gonna put re-entry, okay? Boom. And then I was now in the trade on this green candle right here, right? It was under this level right here, and it was under the support level of the bear flag as well. So I'm going to put bear flag support right here. Bear flag support right here, okay? Boom. And then, so it was still below here. So I entered in right there. This candle, it was kind of just chilling. And then this candle came, and then boom, it started to come down on the 5 minute. And then this candle was kind of chilling. It came down a little bit. And then this candle really started to come with the pressure, and then boom. All right. And then I actually took my exit on the 5 minute, on the 15 minute. If you look on the 15 minute right here, right? If you look on the 15 minute right here, on the 15 minute, my entry was right here. Okay. On the 5 minute, it looked a little bit different because there's more candles, but I was on the right here. Now, I said, okay, we could come down here and we could see a little bit of a bounce, or we could break right through it. All right. I ended up staying in right here, and I actually ended up getting out around right here. Okay. So I actually took my exit right here, All right. Took my exit. Right there. All right. Boom. So as you can see, and I got like 19, 20% on that trade. But as you can see, we had the setup, right? So think about it. We opened up inside of the gap fill, and then we just started to sell off. Then it started to consolidate. That is a bear flag. A move to the downside, then it's consolidation. That's a bear flag. Lets me know we're going lower. It had a little bit more energy. It went to the upside, invalidated the bear flag, and then it started to come lower. I based everything off of the bear flag support level. I did not get in right here because it could have went back to the upside, right? So I got out. I was already out. I said I'll re-enter once it breaks below here, and it did exactly that on the 15-minute. Right? It did exactly that on the 15-minute. It broke below here. I got in on this candle right here, and then we wrote it right down there. All right? So that's how you want to play it. Okay? You got the setup right here. It's not always going to go exactly how you want it to, but you already have the levels and everything right here. And that's why I said when we break below here, I will re-enter because it'll be more certain, and then boom. All right? I invested more money into this trade than I did this trade, and I was able to recoup how much I got stopped out for, and then I was green. All right, so that's how you do that. But the key is understanding what is the setup. Okay, that's what I want to emphasize. Sometimes a setup is gonna go the opposite way of what it looks like. It's okay to get stopped out of a play, but once it starts to come right back to those levels, now it's for real. Now it's going to make the move. And then boom, it made the move, and we was able to make our money, and we did what we did. Simple as that. All right. So I want you guys to know what a solid setup looks like. So that way, even if things go against your position, you know how to handle it. See, that's the key. How to handle being in a trade that isn't going your way. It's okay to get stopped out because when you honor your stop loss, you are respecting yourself and your account, right? But also not panicking, right? Because I could have stayed in a trade, but I didn't feel like experiencing that drawdown. Right, that's the thing. I didn't want to experience a drawdown and have to go through that, and it could have went up. So I was better safe than sorry. Right? So then I saw it starting to come down, and I was like, all right, perfect. When it breaks this, that is when I will get in, because that was my rules initially because I saw the bear flag. Okay? And then we did what we did. So it's not about every trade going perfect. It's about you having great execution and understanding of the market and understanding what's going on. All right. So I hope that helped you. Always remember, not every trade is going to be perfect. Okay. You're going to have your streaks. You're also going to have streaks where it feel like nothing is going your way. You're also going to have streaks where you feel like you're losing a lot, but it's not a lot of money. There's all different types of things that's going to be coming your way. I'm trying to help you figure out and navigate how to handle all these different things. All right. So today we was going to the downside. We ended up going down. I get stopped out. The setup is still there. I wait for it to break the level. It breaks the level. I get in. Boom. We make money. 20% trade, just like that. All right. This is simple, but we as human beings, we make it hard. All right. So like I always say, make sure you get out your head. You get into this world because your head is a dangerous place to live, all right? And also remember, the more you study, the less you worry, all right? I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Peace.